be able to identify this supplier was paid these amounts. The information that I'm relying on is previous reports that were done on this matter, which we've picked as is. We are having a challenge, Chair, of a lot of incomplete documents for that period. What we could actually get were system final payments per contractor, which is what we've indicated here. In terms of procurement, you'll allow me to ask procurement officer to comment on that in regards to the procurement law that was there at that time and the process that was followed.
But maybe before we give it to the head of procurement, in Kenya, from where you sit, can we have any statistic of a year where prices went up 337% times? Because the variation is going up 337. And you are saying it's because of rise in prices or pricing. Can we have any financial year or any fiscal year where price of goods went up 337 times?
Chair, that is, of course, not possible. Perusing the documents, we can see that there was a delay. The project began in 2002. The certificate of completion is dated June 2009. So we do have, as part of the report that we relied on, one of the reasons being given was a circular from Treasury that put a stop or a delay to any sort of capital investment within the sagas. However, as you have indicated, the price escalation is indeed alarming, and as an institution, of course, we do concur with the previous recommendations that the matter needed to be looked at in depth by EACC. Maybe we can add that EACC did come to NHIF. We did share the documents that we had. There was also communication to them that some documentation could not be gotten, where they requested the previous CEO to go and do a statement to that effect.
And the CEO did the statement? Yes,
he did.
Let's hear from the officer, and then Mheshimiwa, you use that to respond more. Mheshimiwa Inaina and Mheshimiwa Wamawa. Let's just hear from the procurement to tell us at that time what was it happening. Was the 25% in place? It was not in place, or why did you raise it to 337%, Dr. Ari?
Thank you, Chair. I'll respond in the question of the member in terms of value for money and the single sourcing. Chair, when you look at Appendix C, you will find that the fund acquired the services through pre-qualified or pre-qualification of contractors. And Chair, that is a process that is away from single sourcing. It means that these contractors were subjected to certain criteria. They were evaluated and identified through the right procedure in procurement. Chair, in terms of change or variation, as my colleague has said,
the response is misleading. What I ask you about single sourcing is the difference between 909 million to 3-point-something billion. This pre-qualification was for the original contract. Am I right?
Yes.
Then in between, you have not shown, you have not proved to us that there were other processes to procure the additional funds, because there were additional work. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, were they procured, or they were just single source? That was my concern. And if they were procured, is there evidence?
Proceed.
And also still, Chair, on that.
On procurement.
Yeah, we still want to be advised. The moment this was realized, can we have the board meetings that discussed this vis-a-vis the existence of the law as per the percentage of the 337. Again, we also want to have a letter from the Mother Ministry advising that even if it is against the law, the increase, as the Mother Ministry, we advise this and this and that. Therefore, Chairman, it's good we be provided with the minutes from the board discussing this variation, and also advice from the Mother Ministry agreeing that on behalf, we can also say these circumstances ready to this. So can we also have a letter from the ministry also advising on this crazy escalation?
That is noted. Clerks, you take note of that. In the next letter to them, they'll be submitting as the board minutes, the way Mheshimiwa Maua wants. And also, what Mheshimiwa Daktari Masara is asking you, the issue of the vehicle lists, after the board meeting agreed that you now get the vehicle list left in the car park, what you just went ahead and did single sourcing to procure. Now, Mheshimiwa Inaina, then we go back to Daktari.
Thank you, Chair. My point is the same. In any case, in the first place, the building which was being done, there was the first pollution where it came to a halt or stop to continue the construction. And in the first place, where the construction was stopped, it is supposed to start there when the next valuation was being done. And to that, the valuation which was supposed to be done, it is between the time limit when the construction was stopped. We need to see the next valuation, because there must be a competitive valuation. This building was done up to this floor, and because of that it was stopped. We are going to demand some money for that delay of time, because material have been increased also and so on. For that matter, it is supposed to be done a valuation and a competitive bidders, so that we get, and those people who can demand, who can tell us this property will go up to 3.3 billion from the vast amount. This is where we are asking, do we have other valuation from the first place? And where you see it, because you know about, even if you are not a farrier, you can be able to know. The first person valued this figure, and now we want to continue with the construction. Is it possible to exaggerate from 1.1 billion to 3.3 billion? Where are those other variations? Do we have any failure there between to value that property to become 3.3 billion? And if that's the case, what extras were done to make that building, or that exaggerated to be more than 3 times? Yes, you told us there is an extra of lapping or the lift, but does it cost double of the initial valuation? Thank you.
Before any other response, we want to get 2 colleagues who have come in. Then Mheshimiwa, yeah, he was next. So let's hear your name, and then Bishop Kosgei, you also put your name on the Hansard. Mheshimiwa Joshua.
Thank you. My name is Joshua Kimilu, Member of Parliament, Kite Constituency. I'm a member of this committee. In addition to what my colleague has said, is that before evaluation there must be inspection, a report, then the board to sit down and agree. So I also want to know the procedure. You tell us the whole procedure, what has happened to come to the evaluation, so that we can be on light on what happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Bishop Koskei, nominated Member of Parliament and a member of this committee.
Chair, I just wanted to add one. You know, you said something very important on the issue of percentages, the 337 and the 25, the normal one. But when the head of procurement answered that question, he said these contractors, they were taken through a certain criteria, That criteria is what we are looking for. You cannot answer it by saying they were taken through a certain criteria, then we leave it there. How are you answering these questions? You need to give the right answer so that we can get what we wanted, and from there we can leave it at that point.
Mheshimiwa Chief.
Thank you, Chair. As you can hear, there are so many questions. I don't know how the Masara gave them fair score. But allow me to give them a chance to state to Kenyans, when I see you, what is the business and core mandate of National Health Insurance Fund? Can you answer that directly before I ask these questions I have?
No.
Please.
That is not the contact. You ask, I'll give him chance to respond. Just not.
Chair,
and then you'll be interrogating him when you move. Yes.
Chair,
Using track from our original agreement.
Yes.
That we ask a question, we get a response, then we get the second set of questions.
That's what I wanted us to move on with. Then yourself you diverted.
Yeah, that is why I was number 2.
Yes.
That is why I'm starting my question.
But mine have not been answered.
Chair, if we go that way, we are going to lose track.
Yeah.
The procurement is on the floor to answer those questions.
Correct.
Then we go again to the CEO before we have the procurement officer finishing.
If that is the case,
He's
Chair,
on the floor.
Then advise me to hold back my question so that they can finish their bid.
Yes.
I think that makes sense.
Yes.
That is the way to go.
Yes.
And I wish to put it that we only have 2 colleagues interrogating the officer in charge of procurement, Honorable Masara and Honorable Omawa. Let us proceed with those issues of Honorable Masara and Honorable Omawa in terms of procurement. Dr. Wasike.
Thank you, Chair. I've done consultation with my colleagues. It is true that the variation was done, and variation is allowed based on the change of the structural design. But members have raised pertinent issues in terms of the approvals and the necessary procedures that were involved. Chair, we wish to request for more time to peruse the files and produce these documents. Within the next time.
But you being the procurement, you know the percentage allowable. You can just make a comment. As you promised to give us the full detail of what happened, generally, what is it that is allowable? Variation is not allowable in just everything. In what confines is it allowed?
Chair, variation is allowed up to 25%. After 1 year, the contract can be varied up to 25%.
After 1 year of commencement or after 1 year of activity?
1 year of commencement of the contract.
Mheshimiwa Maua, anything else?
Chairman, let us hear the law that he's reading so that he can be able to substantiate his answer. Otherwise, not a matter of just telling us and then we move. Let us hear the kind of law that he's reading, and then maybe we can have something from the Office of the Auditor-General vis-a-vis whatever he'll say as we continue with the same. Chair.
Refer to which law?
I refer to Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015.
And I want our lawyer to be referring to it so that in the meanwhile you'll advise Mheshimiwa Maua. Proceed.
Chair, I may need time to consult the Act.
No, we want him to substantiate his answer. Yeah.
You are right, Mheshimiwa Maua. How much time do you require? Of course, that is not outside this sitting. You know, you can refer to it in maybe another 2 minutes or so. But you have to reply to the member.
And the Act is around.
Maybe you can give him the Act. If it's PFA marked, somebody can give him, he can refer.
Chairman, you know when the priest is preaching, he usually refers to verses, and he must say the book, the verse.
But I hope,
Yeah.
I hope,
That is
Mheshimiwa,
what
you are
we
not
want.
referring to the priest like Paul Mackenzie.
Obviously, that one, you know what is happening, and we cannot believe through that. That is a county church. So let him say where, and then we'll be read for that by our secretariat.
Let's give him 5 to 10 minutes, Dr. Wasike.
Yes, that is
5
enough.
to 10 minutes. Please refund, come back before Dr. Masara finishes. We are running short of time. 5 to 10 minutes is good enough.
Chair, I think way forward, if you have taken time not to ask another question, but from the look of things that the witness is not prepared, because for a procurement officer, that was I've read the thing myself. I don't want to read it because I'm not an authority. He's an authority. If I'm able to get it online within 2 minutes, I think he's supposed to get it within seconds. And he's not ready to read it. So we should not read it for him. He needs to read it himself for we to understand that by the time he was procuring, he was aware of what was expected of him. Because from the own, he has requested for more time. Chair, let us give him more time to respond to that question because it will solve so many other questions. If we continue asking him, we will not solve the problem.
How much time do you propose we give him?
He is the person who needs to request. He knows his capacity.
Dr.
But
Wasike,
Chairman,
do you need time? Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Chairman, if the procurement
I request 10
officer
minutes.
is a qualified officer, the act is his first tool. Yes, and as he came, he knew there would come questions from the procurement process because he had also read whatever is contained. And that is a Bible that a priest cannot leave. So when he starts saying, give me time, then he seems not prepared. And he's wasting time for this committee. Otherwise, he was supposed to come armed with the Procurement and Disposal Act, because that is his Bible. So I really wonder if we have the right person here.
Was he under oath? That's the question. Was he under
He's,
oath?
he's under oath.
Then
He's under oath. No, I've given him 10 minutes. Let's give him 10 minutes. Maybe Dr. Mheshimiwa Chief, you had a question to the CEO, but let's not take too much on this issue. There is more poisonous ahead that we need these members, these officers to clarify to us. Because your issue, Mheshimiwa Masara, is on procurement and is the one to come back.
there were
Chief,
two
a minute.
questions which we asked, which the CEO has not responded.
Yes, which one?
The issue of the letter, which was written by Mr. Gio Chiang, and I give the reference, the issue of the unsigned document, which enable the fund to clear the contractor. They have not been responded to.
Bwana CEO?
And even the issue of board of directors, the name, he was still consulting.
Yeah. Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. On the first issue on the document that has been signed by Ochieng GO for the Commissioner of Lands, dated 10th of May 2006. Yes, there in the first page, there was the issue of the purported documents, which were produced by Crown Line. But the same reference on page 2, there is a comment, and I read, from the foregoing, therefore, I am persuaded to believe that the title held by Mrs. Crown Line Freighters Limited in respect to Land Ref 24011 and registered as IR 61730 is a forgery and did not originate from the Department of Lands. And then further to that, on 22nd of August 2007, there is a reference on the matter in the High Court, suit number 26 of 2006, and I'm referencing the third paragraph. It says the suit Land Ref 2009-24 968/2 is registered in favor of the National Hospital Insurance Fund, and the references have been provided in Appendix A.
Do you know why I was asking this question? Were it that the government acted on that letter, these are the cases for the last over 18 years will have not been there, because that title deed is fake. It was fake from the beginning, and the government said that that document is fake. How can you take now a government institution to court again with a fake document? Because to me, by then, the DCI will have arrested the directors. That's the reasons why I need the names of the directors. Because they are supposed to be in jail, they are supposed to pay NHIF all this money of litigation and the time wasted for the entire 20 years. Chairman, if we solve the issue of that letter, then all these queries are null and void. Because we are dealing with a fake thing. How can a fake thing take government 20 years to resolve? Chair, even the CEO, have you asked yourself that question? How can a fake title deed take a government institution 20 years to resolve? If I'm not Peter Masara, I'm not Peter Masara. There's no single day I go to several courts to be Peter Masara. I'm not Peter Masara. That's the truth of the matter.
All right, Chair. Chair, maybe I can go on now.
I want to respect the law. And when you look at two rulings on this matter, the ruling by NLC and the sub judice rule and the separation of powers between the executive and the judiciary, will be going beyond this matter, the way it has come. Mheshimiwa, you are hitting the true nail. You have the right hammer, but to some extent, with the kind of laws that we have, I feel we will have to hold on to this issue as it is for now. And when you look at even the decision of NLC, it recognized the same and talked of the matter being before court. We'll want to navigate it safely to that extent with respect of the court proceedings. I indulge you that we leave it in that angle. But the truth is, what you've said is the naked truth. We'll have to know how to work around it. In the recommendation is the best place to argue in our recommendations, rather than we open the floor for something that might take us in a sub judice position. I feel we need to leave it at that level and go.
Chair, I've not executed my question.
Just a minute. I was just finalizing on what Mheshimiwa Masara had hit. You know, he has opened the real knife, but we are cracked.
No,
so maybe you can.
I'm not going that direction.
Yes.
I just wanted us to, especially Kenyans, to know that we care for them. CEO, that's the reason why I was asking about your business and core mandate. And I read it for you because it's very simple. Access affordable, sustainable, quality healthcare insurance for all Kenyans. The whole of this morning we have been talking about investments which are questionable, veered out of this mandate. And the challenges that you are having right now is fraud claims, retention issues, efficiency, late reimbursement to health facilities. That is what we should have been talking. Now, what have the NHIF do? Number one, you went for medical center of excellence. You are not providing services yourself. To me, that is out of the core mandate of business and business and mandate. Number two, now we are talking about the car park. In fact, the question attached to that, you mentioned some tenants who are there. We want to know how much are they paying per month. So I read for you your core mandate and business. Now I'm reading for you what you are doing with the taxpayers' money, which we give you for UHC, and also contribution from poor Kenyans who are not accessing medical services right now. The other observation, Chair, this is a complete fraud, and we will have to execute it to the latter. There is no way you can increase, even if you go to the Act, you can look at it for 30 minutes, 3 days, whatever. There's no way you can increase any variation to 337%. In the name of contractor having increased service area, contractors do not draw what to be done. Contractor work on the architect assignment. So you have no business in increasing service area and then loading over other monies. Number two, you are saying you did not envision the lifts, and the lifts are not working. You add all these values. Now we are talking from 1.5 to 3.9 or 3.3 billion. These are taxpayers' money. These are contributions from Kenyans who are seeking for medical service, healthcare. Not all this we are talking about. So, Chair, I will have to ask very hard question ahead, but I want to observe that there is a lot of fraud in this entity, and I'm sure this committee will have to summon DCI and EACC to give us why they have not completed their assignment. So in conclusion on this observation, please remember that you are being paid by taxpayers and contributors, very poor people. Even if you were not there then when this happened, you are now at the helm, you have to address our concern. And what you are presenting to us is full of fraudulence. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I wish to give my colleague a mic, CPA Wandeto. Put your name on the handstand.
CPA Geoffrey Wandeto, Member of Parliament for Teto constituency and a member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I wish to invite the CEO to make a remark or a comment or respond to the issues raised. We want to go to the second set of questions.
Thank you, Chair, honorable members. On the issue raised and the comments raised, yes, we appreciate our core mandate is to ensure all Kenyans so that they can be able to access quality and affordable healthcare across the country. I would also just wish to note that the fund also has an investment policy that makes provisions on where some of the resources gained can be used. And we can provide the reference to that. Thank you.
Maybe Dr. Wasike, you've gotten the right citation?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, cited.
Section 139 of Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, which was amended in 2022.
Section
139
of
Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015.
But we are now talking of the 206, that time, the rule that was applicable.
Yes,
that time. That is the one you used.
Yes, that's why, Chair, I sought more time.
You don't need more time, Dr. Wasike. You know, we all know Regulation 31 of the PFM Act in 2006 was even more stricter than what it is. 15% was what is applicable. Why should you waste time that you need more time? More time for what? Dr. Wasike, just tell us, give us an answer straight, we move forward. These are not, it's not something to refer. Because this is something you know. And the colleagues, I want us to be on answered. It was much more stricter. It required that 15% of variation. No one was supposed to vary more than 15%. It was made simpler in 2015 to have moved it by 10% to 25%. So I don't want us to open up, but remember, Dr. Wasike, when you are discussing to us, you are on oath. Give us the real answers, straightforward and clear, not to take us out of what we want. Yes, Mheshimiwa Kimelu, briefly, we need to go to the...
No, what I wanted to say, Chairman, is that that officer is like just guessing. He's not sure what he's talking about. So instead of wasting time, asking for more time, can we just leave it at that point and go to another section of questions? Because now we are not going to waste another more time waiting to hear from him again.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I agree that we move forward. Yes, Kidinji.
Chair, maybe a comment on the responses. I don't want to pull you back to the responses. There is a statement that they have been indicating in the responses, whereby they are saying that the committee recommended that the issues be expunged from the subsequent reports of the Auditor-General. I don't think there is anywhere it has been specifically indicated that, and this is a paragraph we are picking from the general recommendations under the committee report. It is in only one issue under the prior year issues, whereby the committee expressly indicated that if they disclose, it should not be repeated. That is on the issue of short-term investments. All these others, he has indicated that they should be expunged. I don't think there is anything to that effect in the reports of the previous peak committees.
Wanasio, you please cite for us the page of the report of PIC and which session, which PIC report number.
Thank you, Chair. We have attached the 21st report of the PIC, and that is page 309.
Which appendix?
Appendix B. Yeah. And as I read it, it is indeed correct as the auditor stated. It was for investment in securities, where the recommendation was that the committee recommends the query to be excluded from subsequent reports in the Auditor-General, provided that the management makes full disclosure of these unresolved matters in its financial statements.
So now you are putting it to the committee that it gave you exclusive authority to do anything across. That's in your response, that's what you're implying.
No, that is inaccurate, Chair. It was for only investment in securities.
So, Bwana CEO, what do you make of your report submission to us? What do we do with your submission now?
Thank you, Chair. On the clarification that has been sought with my finance team, we would want to expand that specific statement for the ones that are related to the investments that have been read before.
So how about now the ones which we might not know? Because the auditor was quick enough to pick on one. You see, colleagues, we are walking a very slippery path, whereby if we are not very careful, the responses that we have might be very slippery. Consider one thing, colleagues, the auditors did not have ample time. We excused the management, we gave you 5 days, notice that you submit the documents 5 days to time for them to go through. You gave them only hours to this sitting. First observation, we've gone through almost to the tail end, we realized there's a mistake. In audit, we always say, if you have a zero, prior or ahead, that might be 100,000, which could be 10 million or so. So if at all this is happening, where do we then end up? Where are we going, colleagues? Gideonji, do you have anything?
Chair, if you allow before Gideonji answers.
Yes, Mheshimiwa.
If you look at the head of that statement is if full disclosure is done. And I said in our last meeting when we were with them that I was a member of PIC committee. Therefore, I think we need to give them time to look at that, because I don't think if full disclosure was done, so that we are not finishing with them. You can see the way they are going, jumping some questions. Therefore, I feel we'll still need to have the NHIF. We'll still need them back. So by that time, I think the Auditor General's office will have looked at those issues that they are trying to raise as per the 21st and 22nd. And even they are also quoting the 19th report of the PIC report. I was a member of the PIC. So I think that should be the position. We give the Auditor General's office time, because I think all the areas that we are leaving, they will still need to come back to the committee before we conclude to maybe go and write this report.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Maua Githinji.
Thank you, Chair. As I had indicated earlier, it's only in one paragraph that they have been told to exclude if they have made full disclosure, not on the other matters. And in this case, since they are stating that they did the full disclosure in 2020, 2021, this cannot affect the 1920, 1921, and therefore it cannot be expunged at any point in time until the auditors are certified that it has been made a full disclosure. So in this case, it negates everything. They are not supposed to use that. And again, the standard they are quoting, the number 37, I don't think it's applicable under that.
With that observation, I want us to make a headway. Where does it leave our engagement with the agency? Does it give you a position of disadvantage that we might end up making a report on a matter which rely on the response to make a report on a matter which is not within the law, not within the provisions? Where does it leave you? Director, Dr. Kari.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. My observation is as long as the matters we are discussing here, the issues of land, the issues of the car park, the resource center, as long as they remain unresolved, because they are the substantial part of the balance sheet of the NHIF. I think it's about 13 billion in total, their portfolio in land, buildings, and such. As long as they remain there, this comment might not, the small misdemeanor that they have put may not affect the proceedings of the committee. We could continue to discuss the substantial issues, and for this session, we ignore that comment, and I think they have given an apology for that inclusion.
I've not heard the apology because we are unanswered. They've only made their comment, but I've not heard anyone apologizing.
Thank you, Chair, and OAG's office for the guidance. We note the inclusion of the comment, specifically saying the committee recommended that the issues that had been satisfactorily resolved or comprehensively addressed by the committee should be excluded from the subsequent reports of the Auditor-General, provided that the management has sufficiently disclosed these unresolved matters in the notes of their respective financial statements as guided by the International Accounting Standard of number 37, and also in reference to the document page number 309. We would wish to apologize for the inclusion in the first bit on the matters regarding the properties.
Colleagues, do we accept and move on?
Chair, it talks about issues, but there are no specific issues mentioned and tied to that statement. How would an apology just whitewash that? Let's get together here on what we are talking about.
Mheshimiwa Maua, let's have the individual input on this matter so that we listen to individual input and make our way forward. Mheshimiwa Wainaina.
Thank you, Chair. On the matter we are discussing here, I know I can say the CEO and the finance and the people who are there, if they want to finish this issue, they can be able to do it as easily as possible. Because as a matter of as a matter to do with the documentation, Chair, if that document is within the DCI, and the CEO is there, and you can see the document, that the document which is there, it's not for those people who are dealing matters in the court. To safeguard the institution and to save money for the tax people, you can be able to alert with the director of this or DCI, and I'm sure in that there is the legal officer who is there, so that you can solve this problem one and for all. Because for the DCI to hold those document all those years, you have a mandate on your side to safeguard.
Colleagues, I want us to comment on the issue of apology, whether we take it or we leave it, so that we get a headway. Any comment?
We can take it so that we can continue with them.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa Joshua.
Chair, I think we can take it.
Mheshimiwa Maua.
We can take the apology, but for the rest of the areas that have queries and the document that we are requesting, those ones we need, so that we can be able to investigate and to peruse, to make sure that there is no coin from the taxpayer that get lost.
Bishop?
Yes, Chair, because apology means owning up to some of the discrepancies in it, and that is necessary. But that does not remove responsibility in terms of providing proper information to the committee and relevant processes moving forward after realizing some fraudulent undertakings in it. So otherwise, to move on, we don't have to get started.
Thank you, Bishop. Mheshimiwa, put your name and make a comment on that.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bernard Kitur, Member of Parliament for the Great People of Nandi Hills constituency, and a committee member of this committee. I will obviously join the wisdom of my colleagues. Since I came in late, I may not have been able to follow up what has been going on, so I will go with the majority of what my colleagues will go with.
Thank you, Chair. I think I note that this is the second time these people are appearing before us. And Chair, well, Bishop is here and he would teach us the spirit of forgiveness. Even Jesus put a limit to how many times one can be forgiven. I do not know what is the standard of this committee, because Jesus recommended 490 times. Chair, I don't believe you have that time and patience, but we accept the apology, but ask that they get their house in order. We cannot keep postponing issues.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Nico.
Chair, I think as what the colleagues have said, we can take the apology. But that one will not stop us from doing the panel beating the other areas which are still need of our intervention.
Thank you, colleagues. When I see you, we make a decision as a group. I don't make a decision, I only coordinate the making of that decision. You've seen it, the majority have it, have their way, and those few have their say. Yes, so the majority have it. We move forward, but there is a procedure, a written down procedure on how to correct that. You have to make a writing, make it as a write-up, submit the write-up to the auditors. who will also eventually pick it up. That is how to rescind what you sent to us, and a copy has to come to the Secretariat. Number two, for you to use the report from this sitting, there is also a procedure. You don't just pick a report and read it. Yes, you read it, but how do you finalize on it? We're reporting back to the auditors who have raised the issue that the committee has written in this manner, and this is how we finalize it. I feel you missed out that procedure, which is very small, but is very important because it's in law. That is how it's supposed to be done. So I think that step, you missed it, and that's how to do it. Colleagues, thank you very much. Let's invite the auditor to read for us the next 3 questions, then we open the plenary again.
Thank you, Chair. 3.0, unquoted investment. As previously reported, the statement of financial position reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 368,392,699 shillings and unquoted investment, which as disclosed in Note 28 to the financial statements, include an amount of Kenya shillings 314,192,699 shillings in respect of a loan advanced by the fund to the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital MTRH at an interest rate of 3% per annum. However, the loan was not supported with a signed loan agreement within the fund and MTRH, defining the terms of loan, purpose, and the repayment methods. Further, MTRH has disputed the advocate's legal costs amounting to Kenya shillings 40,883,040 shillings charged to its loan account. Although the fund management has acknowledged the omission, explanations on how the anomaly will be resolved and the fallback plan in case of default by the hospital was not provided. The unquoted investment balance of Kenya shillings 368,392,699 shillings also includes shares of Kenya shillings 54,200,000 in Consolidated Bank of Kenya, for which no dividend has been paid in the past. Under the circumstances, the investment in Consolidated Bank shares is impaired. Consequently, the validity of unquoted investment balance of Kenya shillings 368,392,699 shillings as at 30th June 2020 could not be confirmed as fairly stated. Thank you, Chair.
The response?
Thank you, Chair, honorable members. The response is on page 15. And the appendices supporting documents on this particular question are on Appendix E. MTRH, as a background, MTRH, that is Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, wrote a letter to NHIF where ref number ELD stroke MTRH stroke admin stroke 1 volume 4 of 2015 dated 12th of July 2017, forwarding a proposal requesting financing for the purchase of radiation oncology equipment. A board paper was prepared and presented to the Finance and Investment Committee on the proposal to offer a loan facility to MTRH. The board eventually approved a loan facility of 312,669,869.20. NHIF wrote to MMA Advocates on 12th of July 2018, reference number HOSP/3/1 volume 1 /8, requesting them to prepare a finance contract between NHIF and MTRH for the approved amount. The instructions included the total amount advanced and legal fees, which would be recovered over a period of 10 years at an interest rate of 3% per annum. On 5th of December 2019, draft head of terms, draft financing agreements and memorandum of understanding between NHIF and MTRH were finalized and were shared with MTRH for their review and discussion. Thereafter commenced on the terms and conditions. One of the main concerns raised by MTRH was concerning the loan amortization schedule. The current status: the board approved the execution of the contract upon review of the loan amortization form to include the correct legal fees. This communication has since been shared with MTRH for their comments and response received. The loan amortization form is being prepared and contract amended for execution. The loan agreement is ready for execution by both parties. At the moment, as per the agreement, the fund continues to recover the loan from MTRH claims payment at a rate of 3,178,918 per month towards the repayment of the loan. And MTRH have acknowledged this recovery as the two entities finalize execution of the contract. The balance currently stands at 237,601,306. That is as at 24th of April 2023, and these are in the appendix. On Chair, on the shares in the consolidated bank, a value of 54,200,000. The background: the shares held at consolidated bank comprised 590,000 ordinary shares valued at 11,800,000 and 2,120,000 preference shares valued at 42,400,000, totaling the above amount of 54,200,000. On the current status, on the ordinary shares held at consolidated bank, it is true that the fund incurred the total value cost of 54,200,000 in its financial statement. The fund had no reason, as at the close of the financial year, to believe that the investment in Consolidated Bank Limited was impaired, considering that the bank remained a going concern and the fund could claim full ownership of the investment. However, the management intends to assess the recoverability of the investment in the bank in the current period to determine an appropriate treatment in the financial statement in light of the audit recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. 4.0.
Thank you, Chair. 4.0, short-term deposits. As previously reported, included in the statement of financial position as of 30th June 2020, a short-term deposits balance of Kenya shillings 12,381,650,000, which is net of provisions of impairment of impaired investments of Kenya shillings 1,304,410,609 shillings. The provision includes an amount of Kenya shillings 49,500,000, which had been deposited by the fund on 26 June 2001 in Consolidated Bank of Kenya. The entire deposit of Kenya shillings 49,500,000 was offset by the bank against a guarantee executed by the former Chief Executive Officer of the fund on behalf of Eurobank Limited. The circumstances under which the fund's deposit was used as a guarantee by the then Chief Executive Officer has not been explained. The Public Investment Committee recommended in the 21st report as follows. 1. The CEO of NHIF be held accountable for any losses incurred in the irregular investment of the surplus funds in Consolidated Bank of Kenya, and therefore be surcharged for Kenya shillings 40,065,205 shillings, being the value of the undeposited check number 022477 of 23 September 2002 from Eurobank. 2. The then Consolidated Bank of Kenya CEO and the finance manager should be held accountable for colluding with the NHIF to mismanage the invested funds. 3. In view of the fact that the fund had no capacity to provide guarantee for a loan to a private bank, Consolidated Bank of Kenya should pay the amount of Kenya shillings 49,500,000 owed to the fund. 4. The then senior management of Consolidated Bank of Kenya, including the then managing director and the finance manager, should also be held accountable for colluding with NHIF to mismanage the invested funds. 5, the former managing director of Consolidated Bank of Kenya should be surcharged for the funds that were advanced to Eurobank Limited in overnight lending. He should further be held accountable for Kenya shillings 49,500,000, which the bank could not recover from Eurobank Limited and consequently offset the same against the fixed deposit to NHIF. 6, NHIF should relentlessly pursue Consolidated Bank of Kenya for recovery of Kenya shillings 49.5 million. 7, NHIF CEO must ensure that all financial investments by the fund are done in accordance with the Treasury Circular number 10 of 1992 and Section 28(1) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012. However, no action appears to have been taken to recover the Kenya shillings 49,500,000 the fund lost. In the circumstances, it has not been possible to confirm whether the short-term deposit balance of Kenya shillings 12,381,650,000 is fairly stated. Thank you, Chair.
Response?
Thank you, Chair, honorable members. The management response is on page 18 of the shared document. As a background, in June 2001, the fund placed a fixed deposit with Consolidated Bank of 600 million. In August 2001, the then chief executive made a guarantee on behalf of Eurobank to enable Consolidated Bank to use the fixed deposit amount as security. When Eurobank defaulted payment, Consolidated Bank was unable to recover the payment and therefore offset 49.5 million from the total amount of 600 million. And the attached appendix is Appendix E. This matter was handled by the Inspectorate of State Corporations, which was of the view that the fund had no capacity to provide a guarantee for a loan to a private bank. The Inspectorate of State Corporation further guided that Consolidated Bank should pay back the amount of 49.5 million. Attached is the report from the Inspector General within the same appendix. As guided earlier by the Auditor-General's office, the statement as regards the matter is valid for investment in securities. So for this case, this matter was presented to the PIC committee, where it recommended that in its 21st report, that the query should be excluded from the subsequent reports of the AG, provided that the management makes full disclosure of this unresolved matter in its financial statement as guided by the International Accounting Standards. The current status: management has made full disclosure of this matter in its 2020-2021 financial statements as required by the standards and as recommended by the PAC committee report. And the annexure is Appendix E with the extract from the 19th and 21st PIC reports and the letter from ESCC. Thank you.
Next, 5.0.
Thank you, Chair. 5.0, trade and other receivables. 5.1, long outstanding return to drawer RD checks. The statement of financial position reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 7,781,204,639 shillings under trade and other receivables, which, as disclosed in Note 29 to the financial statement, includes RD checks amounting to Kenya shillings 18,061,171 shillings, which had been outstanding for more than 6 months and were therefore still. Consequently, the recoverability of return to draw checks balance of Kenya shillings 18,061,171 shillings as at 30th June 2020 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Response?
Thank you, Chair. The management response is on page 19. Regarding the return to drawer checks totaling 18,061,170, some of these are associated with companies that are closed and the debts exceed 6 years, rendering them outside the scope of Action Act in debt collection. Subsequently, a provision for doubtful debt has been established in the financial statements. As per the Debt Management Clause 4.3.4.1, 50% of the outstanding contributions aged between 12 and 24 months shall be included in the provision, except in cases where adhere-to payment plans are in place. Clause 4.3.4.2 specifies that debts older than 24 months require 100% of the overdue amount to be included in the provision, unless adhere-to payment plans are in place. Furthermore, Clause 4.3.5 on bad debts states that debts exceeding 5 years be classified as bad debts, subject to potential write-off by the Board of Management. The fund intends to pursue the board approval for the write-off as these debts are deemed to be uncollectible. In addition, the management has implemented a system module that automatically reverses payments from employers when their checks bounce, prompting immediate pursuit of the unclaimed amount for that specific month. Consequently, the issue of refer-to-drawer checks has been eliminated. NHIF collection banks, that is KCB, and cooperative banks now only accept their own drawn checks, which are verified for account status before acceptance, further reducing the instances of the refer-to-drawer checks. Moreover, the CEO's office established a task force on 22nd of June 2022, tasked with reviewing debt and providing management with recommendations for appropriate actions concerning each debt category within the organization. The task force anticipates completing its mandate next month, that is May 2023, at which point it will present a report for management review, discussion, and subsequent approval by the Board of Management. The reference is reference F on appointing the committee and the terms of reference for the committee.
Thank you. 5.2.
Thank you, Chair. 5.2, sundry debtors. Included in trade and other receivables balance are sundry debtors, Kenya shillings 5,018,843 shillings, which include an amount of 4,414,750 relating to an insurance claim for motor vehicle registration number KCK 509U, which was involved in an accident on 27th April 2018. As at the time of the audit, April 2021, the claim had not been paid. Consequently, the recovery rate of sundry debtors balance of Kenya shillings 5,018,843 as at 30th June 2020 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Response?
Thank you, Chair. The management response on sundry debtors is on page 20. As a background, motor vehicle number KCK 509U was involved in an accident on 27th of April 2018, which was reported to our then insurer Amaco. The accident was assessed and the vehicle was declared a write-off. Evaluation was done and a discharge voucher of 4,414,750 was issued by Amaco, and this is in Appendix G. The discharge was signed and returned on 12th of June 2019. The claim has, however, not been settled by the insurers, despite numerous engagements via emails and letters as provided. The most recent communication to the client was done in 2021. Channel insurance brokers who are providing insurance brokerage services at the time of the accident tried to engage the insurer on various occasions, including the regulator as indicated to us via an email dated March 2021. The current status: the fund, having received a discharge voucher from Amaco signaling amount to be received from the insurer in regard to compensation for the motor vehicle, signed, stamped, and returned the discharge voucher on 12th of June 2019 for the payment to be processed and wired. The insurance company has since not made payment despite numerous follow-ups. To this, the fund made further engagements with the regulator in pursuit of the debt to ensure that it's fully recovered. The fund has shared policy details with the regulator and awaits further action. In the meantime, to avoid recurrence of a similar scenario, the management has caused all policy documents to include timelines to guide claims and compensation processes in case of incidents of motor vehicles. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, colleagues. I wish to open the floor. And what has got my eye as the chair is just to look at maybe one document, which I invite you colleagues to look at, Appendix G. When you look at the response, Appendix G doesn't have anything apart from just one document. And yet, CEO, you said you've been communicating between yourselves and IRA. Also, in Appendix G, I want you to tell me your relationship between NHIF and Kenya Bureau of Standards. Do you have any relationship?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, there is a relationship with the Bureau of Standards.
What's the relationship?
For the fund, there are standards which we operate by, and they're usually reviewed by the same, and there are issuance of certificates on the same.
So this vehicle, was it for NHIF or for Kenya Bureau of Standards? This vehicle in question.
Chair, let me just have a small consultation with my team.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. On close reference and on the document provided in the appendix, it's noted that KBS, Kenya Bureau of Standards, do hereby accept and receive the amount. The witness the witness as a signatory is a staff of the fund, so we request for a few minutes to just make a few calls and make a clarification on the same.
No, let's prosecute this issue, because in the financials, colleagues, you have declared that these people owe you money in the 5,018,000. But in the same attachment which you've given to us, there is a document which shows that Amaco might have already released money to Kenya Bureau of Standards, because the claimant is Kenya Bureau of Standards, not National Hospital Insurance Fund. CP, wanted to, you have something to say?
Chair, I think, and I had picked up this document even in the last session, we just didn't get to discuss it. But these are the issues we are saying. This is totally reckless. That the fund has been holding a document reviewed by all these senior officers who we believe are competent in their different capacities for all these number of years since 2019, and nobody has noted that actually this document does not belong to you. It is serious, and I think they either own it up or expurge it from this document, because the document is not addressed to them, so it is not their document.
Mheshimiwa Kitur.
Adding on to it, Chair, it's surprising to hear the CEO saying that they want to make some calls, consultations now. This was something that was with them, and it is amazing or ridiculous, even when you read their last statement, where they say the most recent communication to the client was done in December 10th, 2021. So essentially, it shows the lack of seriousness, or they know something more than we don't, and the reason why I'm even skeptical on the calls that will be made.
Bwana CEO, in politics we say, hii imeenda. But we are not in the politics. We are here. Where is this money? Mheshimiwa,
Before I contribute, you need to pay as the people of because imeenda is it is ours. Yes, yes, it's from Suna. So when you're using it, I need to be collecting royalties. Chair, I don't want to comment because this is an obvious thing. Why don't we just do report? Because what else do you want? If the CEO submitted to you an evidence himself, do you want him to remove it or what? This thing remains for report writing. I think we should not take a lot of time. There are other issues we can discuss. This one is a direct one.
There was an apology that was made. Could be Chair is waiting for another apology for the same.
Chair.
Nhif, then Bishop.
Chair, I think Mheshimiwa Masara is right on this. This is the second time we are meeting the team, and what they have provided to us is evidence enough. That's why I even didn't agree with those apologies, because now you can see it is coming in every page. So what we will do is take the document and write a report as it is, without more explanation, phone calling, and all that. Thank you, Chair.
Bishop, you had something?
Yes, I was just asking. I'm just asking the CEO whether is the Office of the Internal Audit functional in the corporation? If it is, what is the input in all this? You can see somehow some administrative misnomer.
Finally, Mheshimiwa Maua.
Yeah, Chairman, for record purposes and for Hansard, let us hear the reply that he has. And even the phone call that my colleague here is talking about, it is good to hear for the purpose of Hansard, so that not single time that Chair, he'll say that he was not given the right of reply.
Please proceed, CEO.
Thank you, Chair, honorable members. I've noted the concern raised as far as I would admit that this is an admin issue. It ought to have been noted by the time we were filing this, but that seems not to have been the case. The call was basically to the signatory of the document and also the person who was responsible at that time, and they've also indicated that it might have passed their eye. So we will not request for an apology. It's an issue on our side which we'll seek to resolve.
But still, I have a question to the head of finance. Because this document is the custodian of the whole weight of the organization. I want to hear her comment on this document.
Thank you, Chair, honorable members. When it comes to matters claiming, we do have a specific claim office that deals with underwriting. So indeed, they did share with us the documents. As the auditor had mentioned, we were submitting our documents very early, that is yesterday. So at the time of compiling, we were requesting the various departments to provide us, and I think it did miss our notice, given the number of attachments we had to give. So I will just say that we take that up upon ourselves as an institution, because this should have not gone undetected.
This is not even a matter of claims. This is a matter of finance, because finance is the one that picks it as an entry into the books. Is the one that recognizes the document from claims. You are the one coordinating everything that is happening. So for you to have been pushing that this is my debt, somebody owes me this money, then you should be seeing who owes you the money. So you cannot say you are asking money from Kenya Bureau of Standards, yet you are National Hospital Insurance Fund. So there must be something that I want to hear that coming out from you.
All right, yes. For purposes of the financial statements, we used our claim document to Amaco to reflect them as debtors in our books of accounts.
Can we have the look of that claims document?
Okay, we can get it.
Chairman,
and then Oh, okay.
Chairman, the vehicle belongs to Kenya Bureau of Standards. How do you claim it? And then the Amacos have paid. They don't have any debt for you, madam. How long have you been in your position at NHIF?
I have moved through various positions, Honorable Member.
No, how long have you been in at NHIF?
NHIF have been there for 19 years.
19 years. Holding which positions?
Various. I began as an officer at the branch, and then I've risen through various years.
What is your background?
Economics and finance.
Sure, Chair. And then you can supply such a document to Parliament, a document belonging to Kenya Bureau of Standards. You are bringing to us and your national health insurance. What is the relation? There is no letter indicating. And these people, as a financier, these people have paid. What are you going to claim from them? They have played Kenya Bureau of Standards.
I wish to guide it.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, you had given us a very good way forward. We'll write the report. I think it ends there.
Yeah.
Let's proceed with the questions. I want to ask one more question, and then we proceed. The question on MTRH. When you look at the figures of MTRH, you are recognizing 314,192,699. That's what you're recognizing. But what were you approved? How much was approved by the board?
Chair, what was approved was 312, 669, 862.20. However,
yes,
for the loan, there was loaded in legal fees, and as at the time of the audit, there were already payments done. So this was the balance as at that financial year.
So how did the board approved 312, and you are recognizing 314?
The 312
yes,
includes legal fees. The legal fees go to the claimant for the loan. And then over the years, there have been recovery from MTRH.
Wait. Don't go to recoveries. Okay. Let me understand how much was approved by the board that you give to MTRH?
312.
How much did you give to MTRH?
Okay, not MTRH per se, but we were paying to Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board. We paid 312.669. However, Chair, if you recall, legal costs when you are looking for a loan facility are borne on the recipient of the loan.
Legal fee of 1.4 million? The difference about 1.4 million?
It was 40 million.
So what is the makeup? Anyone with a calculator to give me the mathematics. 314 million, 192, 699, minus 312. 312 and something. The gap is 1.492. So what is making up that difference of 1,492,492?
Recoveries. Sorry, if you can come again, if I can get you correctly.
Let me begin.
Okay.
Look at the board approval letter.
Yes.
It is 312 million.
Yes.
How much is the audit query? When you look at the audit query, it's 314, 192, 699.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference?
The difference is recoveries over time.
I want the figures. The figures.
Okay.
How much is that? 1 million? On my part, on my part, I'm getting 1,492,830. So I'm asking you as the head of finance, what is the makeup of that difference? And who approved that difference? Maybe you demonstrate the approval of that difference?
Okay, Chair and honorable members. So the loan repayment was 312 million, load on the legal fees of 40 million. You have 352 million. Then you have recoveries up to June 2022 of 38 million, which gives you now the 314. So the 314 is the balance as at the time the auditor was auditing the financial statements.
Am I putting my question wrongly?
I think, Chair.
Yes.
If I understand what you're asking.
Yes.
And I listen to what the response of the witness. Chair is trying to clarify the fact that as of 30th December, the balance of the loan was 314.
Correct.
Okay? And Chair, if I understood from what the witness said, they gave out a loan, the board approved a loan of 312. On top of that loan was added legal costs of 40 million. Giving a figure, you said 352?
352, yeah.
352 or thereabout. So that was the total loan given out. 352. We can question the other issues, but that was the total amount owed by Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. They have been paying at a rate of 3 million a month.
Yes.
So as at we speak, between 2017 and now, when we are doing these accounts, the balance remaining is 314. That is how I've understood.
Yes.
That is how I've followed the conversation. I don't know, Chair, whether that was your question. I'm not trying to...
That's my question.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying I'm looking at it from a different angle and asking, when it is 352, but it is, as at the end of 30th June, is 314, meaning there is a whole 1.45 million unexplained. The difference between 352 and 3 million 112 and 3,000,014. Less the legal fee of 40 million. What does the difference make up of?
Okay, maybe through the chair, that balance of 314, which when you look at it vis-a-vis the 312, would look as if there's an additional amount on top.
Yes.
So I was coming from the point that MTRH was given a loan, and they're in agreement even today that legal fees be loaded to them. So in our books of accounts, you take the principal amount and the loan. The total now is what we reflect in our books. But over time, because we have an agreement of recovery, it goes reducing by 3 million every month. We have tried to demonstrate it with an appendix, because even that figure now has come down to 237 as we speak.
CPA, it is not adding up. Because the legal fee was how much?
40.
40 million.
Yes, you add to 312.
You add to 312.
Yes, so you start with a bigger figure than the 312.
The witness has explained. I don't know whether the auditors agree. I think the figure has been explained.
Okay.
It is principal, it's the loan plus legal fees, less repayments. As at the time of this report, the balance was 314. So actually the 314, Chair, I would say, and I know you are struggling, what is the relationship? I would say the relationship is not direct here, because it's, the 314 is actually not even, the 312 is not even the figure that they are carrying forward. They are actually carrying a figure of 352 on the loan, which has now been repaid and is remaining 314 here. And now she's even saying, as we speak, it's 237. So maybe for me, I feel like that has been explained. The more weightier issues may not be that difference, but I'm not appearing to support the witness. I'm just trying to say that I've understood the explanation.
Okay.
Point of order. Even at that point, you are no longer a member, but you are a witness. So you need to declare your interest.
No. We are.
I am just trying to say that I've understood. I've followed the explanation.
I want the Mheshimiwa Masara to get it very right. We benefit from intellectual capacities of colleagues, and that is why when what Chief is speaking, he is a professional in health services, trained and worked in the United States of America. And when you are speaking as Dr. Masara, you have the qualities to understand what you are talking. So let's benefit from him.
But
let me open the floor.
Chair, just let me justify my statement. When we'll be writing reports, we'll rely on the answered and the witness's response. We'll not use the response from members. Members will be interrogating the response from the witness. So I think you need to come out that it is trying to advise, but when it's trying to explain, then it is something different, because the person who is explaining is qualified to explain that, unless the person is not qualified. You know, when you ask me now to explain things to do with the legal, then at a given point I'm not qualified to respond.
Let's engage. You know, the CPO and Leto made me to come out of what I was looking for.